Right, today we're looking at this block here. This is Pathway 3. Pathway 3, you'll notice, has got a corner in it. Now, the big difference between Pathway 3 and Pathway 2 and Pathway 1, Pathway 3 has this corner in it. So you may remember that Pathway 2 has a vertical stripe. Pathway 1 has a horizontal stripe. So when we have a look at our pathways side by side, we've got one going one way, one going the other way. Now, our Pathway 3 block is just going to be able to connect these pathways across the blanket. We're going to make two of these corner blocks. They are slightly more annoying than the others. Pathway 1 is the easiest, Pathway 2 is the second easiest, and Pathway 3 is the most annoying of the pathway blocks. But what we're going to do is we're going to cast on 40 stitches in our mustard or tan colour and knit the first 4 rows for our border here. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to rejoin you and we're going to talk our way through the rest of the block. But you'll see that it's very, very similar to our previous 2 pathway blocks. Right, so here we are with the first 4 rows of our garter border. So they're just knit rows over our 40 stitches. Now what we're going to do is we're going to knit up to row 20 here. That means we've got 16 rows where we've got 4 stitches on either side and knit, so creating this garter border. And we've got 16 rows of stockinette in the middle. So what that means for our front side, just like we have many times before, we're just going to knit all the way across the front side. We're going to ignore the dog snoring in the background because, of course, he's snoring leaning on my tripod. You know, the things they don't tell you when you decide that you're going to make a video tutorial, they don't tell you. Watch out for the cat, because the cat is just going to expose herself to the, well, I won't say millions of people on the internet, given the number of people who watch my videos. The tens of people on the internet who watch my videos get to see the cat's butt, whether they want to or not. And you're all being subjected to the sound of my dog snoring because he's just enjoying the fact that it's not a work day. Right, so we just knit all the way across our front side. Now this first part will go really quite quickly. It's only when we get to the colour changes that things are going to slow down on this block. This is why I call this the most annoying of the blocks, because it's the only one we actually have to think. I'm a fan of not thinking when it comes to knitting, because I still have to do a lot of thinking when I do crochet. Right, so on the next side here, all we're going to do, and we've done this before, we're going to, oh no, we're going to slip the first stitch. Basically, we're knitting the first 3. The slip stitch is absolutely optional. I like to slip this first stitch because it creates a neat salvage edge. Now we're going to purl across to the last 4 stitches. When we get to the last 4 stitches, we go. Dog does look very cute, even if I'm sure that my tripod is wobbling back and forth. It's also not the greatest tripod. It's an older one. It started off and it was okay. It's supposed to have a built-in soft light that I've never figured out how to make work. So you can tell that I'm really not impressed with the tripod from the moment I got it. But it did used to be reasonable for overhead footage. Now it's, well, it turns out it's wobbly if the dog's using it as a pillow. We're at the last 4 stitches and we're just going to knit those. Right. So, because this is the easy part of our block, we're now going to continue this up to row 20. So we've got 16 rows where we knit the front and we're knitting 4, purling across to the last 4, knitting 4 for the back side. I'm going to do that. And we're going to rejoin here for our pathway section where we pick up the grey yarn and we start doing some colour changes. All right, so here we are. We're up to row 20. Now for row 20, we're going to be bringing in our pathway. So it's kind of like a cross between the Pathway 1 and Pathway 2 blocks. So what we're going to do first of all is we're just going to knit across the first 13 stitches in our mustardy, tanny, browny colour. Again, you can actually swap this colour out for green if you've got more green left over. I was going to go with a slightly darker brown initially, and then when I couldn't find a darker brown that I actually liked in the yarn shop, when I was speed running the yarn purchasing, because it's quite a bit of yarn for this project, I will admit that. And so you don't want to be necessarily over capitalizing on your yarn. So I wanted to go with this particular brand because it is quite cheaply available and it's wool. Anywho, I couldn't get a brown colour that I wanted. I wanted one that was browner than this, but this one is mustard. It's a little too close to the gold for my liking, but you know what? It's actually fine. You can sub these two colours out for green or either green because it's just going to look like... It's just going to look like part of the... I don't know why I'm still trying to pretend I'm keeping this one secret. But just in case you're watching this live, I'm not going to say what this is yet, except Pathway 3. Right, once we get knit 13, all we're going to do now is just pick up our grey yarn for our pathway. Again, this can be a darker colour. This can be a browny shade for you if you like. You can change your colours around. The only ones I would say need to be green are the grassland and forestry blocks. Oh, yeah, and the one with the bobbles should be gold. Just because, although, you know, you do you, boo. There are no yarn police. Again, you can also just use yarn scraps for this project and just use different greens or different golds, different yellows. That's all good. Right, okay. Now, the reason why we're just knitting across these stitches here is just so that we don't have that line there on our front side. So what we're going to do on this side is very similar to Pathway Block 1 until we get to the gold. So first of all, we're just going to slip 1, knit 3. Then we're going to, because it's the wrong side, we're just going to do 1 knit stitch there. Now we're going to purl 2, knit 2, 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 purl 2. Right, once we've done that, we're just going to pull on that yarn tail to tighten that stitch up there. All we're going to do is drop our grey yarn, crossing it over with this mustardy colour. And now we're just going to continue on the end of the row with just straight purl till the last 4. And when we get to the last 4, we are just going to knit those last 4 stitches. Right. Okay, and we're going to continue like this all the way up until row... Now I have to make my brain work ultra hard at this point. Row 40. So row 40, we're going to be changing it around. But as you can see here, as we come across, we're going to be alternating our knit 2, purl 2s so that every single row, every 2 rows in fact, we've got these cobblestone effects. So we've got a knit 2 block, a purl 2 block, a knit 2 block, and purl 2 block, knit 2 block, purl 2 block. What we're going to do, if you wanted to be counting it along the easy way, from this side here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks until we're going to change. So just keep in mind that every time we come across a front side row, we're matching up these bobbles. When we're on the back side row, we're going to try and alternate. So if it was a purl 2, we're going to knit it. If it was a knit 2, we're going to purl it so that we end up with our cobblestone blocks. I'm hoping that makes sense. I'm happy to sit here and knit another row and make some awkward conversation with you just so that it's absolutely clear, because I do like the cobblestone effect of the pathway that's rolling around. Right, okay, so I'm just going to knit this mustard yarn here. The weather today is absolutely delightful. We're in spring in New Zealand at the moment as I'm filming this, which is notorious for being 4 seasons in one day. So we've had cold, we've had frosts, we've had sun, we've had wind, you name it. Right, so I've got to the grey. I'm knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. See, all I'm doing at this point is I'm just matching it up. If I've got flat stitches, I'm knitting them. If I've got bobbly ones, I'm purling them, so that I'm matching them up while I'm on this right side row, all the way across. Now, one of the things I am hoping to do with this particular project is I'm hoping to enter it in the AMP show. But in order to enter it in the AMP show, I need to finish it soon. From the time that I'm filming this till the time that I need it in the AMP show, now we're just going to purl 1 here, and now we're going to knit the last 4, is, I think I've got a week, which is plenty of time because mostly I'm just filming these tutorials at this point. But I haven't stitched them together because I want to show the different ways that you can put this block together. Because the way that this pattern's been put together is so that if you make all the pieces, you'll be able to make it as designed by me. If you don't end up making all the pieces, there are some options about what you can do with these squares. Right, so here's an alternate one. We're just going to slip 1, knit 3, and then we're just going to knit this 1 more stitch that just gives us this little ditch along this side here, just a bit of a line between these 2 spaces. Now, because we're on a wrong side row, we're going to do the opposite. So we purled 2 last time, so this time we're going to knit 2, and now we're going to purl 2, and we're going to knit 2, and we're going to purl 2. Dropped the roll. And we're going to knit 2. And we're going to purl 2. And we're going to knit 2. And we're going to purl 2. And we're going to knit 2. And we're going to purl 2. And then I think we've got just 2 more to go. Yay! And we're going to knit 2. We're going to bring our yarn backwards, wrap it around the mustard, purl to the last 4. And now we're going to knit these last 4, ignoring the dog snoring in the corner, because that's what we do these days. We just ignore the dog. So again, we're just going to continue in this fashion until row 40. I will rejoin you on row 40 and for row 40 and row 41. So row 40 is where this last grey row coming through here, and row 41 is the first row where we're going to be bringing in this colour change here. So just keep in mind that we're alternating our little cobbles so that our pathway has that texture to it, and then we're going to work up to here. All right, I will see you then. Right, here we are on row 40. We've finished row 39, which is a front side row. Now on row 40, we're just going to do some purl stitches. Now the reason we're doing these purl stitches is that we're trying to avoid these colour change bumps on the good side of our project. So we're going to knit the first 4, then knit the next one. I can hear the dog coming. Now we're going to, actually we don't need to knit the next one, let's just purl the next one. Knit the first 4 and then purl across 9, I believe. Don't quote me just yet, it might be 9. Okay, so where are we at? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it's going to be 10. So what we've got here is we've got 14 stitches on this side here. Now we're going to, these ones here are no longer going to be grey. They're going to be gold in our next row. But that's just purling those ones. Now we're just going to continue this pattern for the rest of this grey section. And it's going to go like pathway block 2. So we're going to have this vertical stripe at the top of our block. And we're going to continue that cobblestone effect by doing our knit 2, purl 2 blocks. So knit 2, purl 2. Bam, 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 bam. And now we're going to change back to our gold. And we're going to purl to the end of this row. Well, purl to the last 4. And then we are going to knit the last 4 stitches. One, 2, 3, 4. Right, okay, so I've got a yarn label that's annoying me floating around through here. Get rid of that. Okay, so this is row 41. We're 20 rows from finishing this block, basically. So what we're going to do is we need a second ball of the brown, mustard, whatever colour you're using for this block. We're first of all going to knit across to our grey section. We're going to ignore the dog tip-tapping past me in the kitchen. The good news is he's no longer sleeping right next to me, so, you know, thank heavens for small miracles, I guess. All morning it's been the cat or the dog doing one thing or the other. We're wrapping our yarns together. Now for this middle section, we've just got knit 2, or purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. And now it's at this point I need to just double check. So there's 4, there's 5, there's another 5. So it's there. Okay. So we're going to knit 2. So that's our middle section here is, let's just double check this block here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I need one more. So I'm just going to fix this up because clearly my maths didn't maths in the last wee bit. So that means that we're not doing, I'll correct. The written version will be correct. The verbal version that Juanita's bollocking on right now is clearly going to be incorrect. Am I going to change it? No. Am I going to edit out this bit where I've made a boo-boo? Also, no. By now, if you signed up for anything on my channel, you signed up for the chaos. Right, okay, so now we're going purl 2. That's given us 14 stitches in the grey in the middle. That means on this side, what we're going to have is we've got 5, 10, 13. That's what we've got. We've got 13 on either side of our pathway. That feels more right. Oh, I just didn't count it properly the first time round and ended up with the wrong number. Okay, we're now going to pick up our gold, mustard, tan, whatever colour you want, and we're going to knit these last 13 stitches to the end of the row. And that's going to give us our corner. Dun, 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 dun. And we should have all of our wobbly colour change sides are on the back. So our front is going to look pretty and our back is going to have those wobbly bits that we don't want. Right, so that's the end of row 41. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to have a look at this block and you're going to be able to see what's happening. We're carrying on with the stockinette up either side. We've got the pathway in the middle. So this bit here is just like when we did pathway block 2. Then when we get to our last 4 rows, so our last final row of this pattern here will be row 50. My maths is not mathsing. 56. Then rows 57 58, 59 and 60, correct, Juanita, are these last garter rows here. Just carry on your colour changes and then cast off in pattern. You will need 2 of these pathway blocks that turn the corner. Yes, they're going to line up with our other pathway blocks when we put everything together. And you are so close to finishing all the different blocks for this pattern. I will see you tomorrow with our next section.